One day, Juno noticed the sky going dark down below. She suspected it was her husband Jupiter who was creating the clouds to hide something. She brushed the clouds away and saw her husband near a stream with a beautiful heifer. She immediately suspected Jupiter was cheating on her and had concealed a girl's form, which was indeed the case. Her name was Io, and she was the daughter of Inachus, who was a river god. Juno was suspicious, and when she went to speak with Jupiter, she asked him, where was the heifer from? From what herd? Whose was it? Jupiter told her it was a fresh creation from the earth in hopes of stopping her, but then she surprised him by requesting the heifer for herself. He had been put in a corner and couldn't deny such a simple gift without arousing suspicion. Juno left Argus, the 100-eyed giant, to look after her new prize. Io was chained at night and let out in the day to feed. One day she encountered her family, but they simply admired the beauty of her form, and her father even fed her grass. She was ashamed of the sound she would make as a cow, so she decided to try to draw her name in the sand. This worked, and her father lamented, "Alas, my daughter, it would have been a less grief to have lost you altogether." Upon hearing the noise, Argus drove them away and recaptured his heifer. Jupiter still longed for Io and wanted to help her, but he couldn't be directly involved. He enlisted the help of Mercury to take care of the Argus problem. Mercury went down to Earth in the form of a shepherd, playing pipes called the Pandean pipes. Argus liked the sound and invited Mercury to sit next to him in the shade. The pipes had the power of lulling who listened to sleep, but all Argus could do was partially fall asleep. Some of his eyes always remained open. So, Mercury started lulling Argus with a story about how the pipes were made. The story goes that a nymph named Syrinx, who was adored by the satyrs and spirits of the wood, caught the attention of the satyr Pan. One day, she was returning from her hunt, and she was a faithful follower of Diana and even resembled her. Pan told her this, but she ignored him and kept running. He followed her on and on until finally he got close enough to reach her. At this moment, she called upon her friends, the water nymphs, who helped by throwing up reeds in the form of Syrinx. Pan reached for them, but immediately realized they were just reeds. He let out a sigh and heard the breeze going through the reeds, which made a plaintive melody. "Thus, then, at least you shall be mine." As a consolation, he formed the reeds into an instrument he called Syrinx. This story caused Argus to sleep, and as his head fell to rest on his chest, Mercury cut his neck all the way through. Juno was of course unhappy at this turn of events, and sent a gadfly to torment Io, still in heifer form. She swam through the sea, ran through the plains, ascended mountains, crossed the Thracian Strait, which thereafter was named for her Bosphorus, meaning cow ford, and arrived at last on the banks of the Nile. At this point, Jupiter couldn't stand any more of her suffering, and he promised Juno that he would no longer pay attention to Io. This satisfied Juno, who returned Io to her human form. Her transformation was unsightly, but her beauty returned. She was afraid to speak for fear she would moo, but in the end, she was with her family again.